Good morning, ninth grade. Hope you're ready for a good run today or a good stretch. This is, oh no, let's not get started too much on today's lesson. Tell me about quiz yesterday. How did quiz 2 go? Was it easy? Was it hard? Did you get stuck? Nobody called me. If you do get stuck on a question, you can't do it, I'm not going to tell you the answer, but maybe I could tell you a step to do it if you have a problem. I'm not going to tell you the answer, okay? Let's get that straight. You can't call me and say, what's the answer for number 5? I won't tell you. But if you call me and you say, I got so-and-so and so-and-so step, and I'm stuck. And I may even send you a picture. Don't tell nobody that I said that, though. Today, back to today's lesson now. 9.11. And in your math books, it should be 449. This is the pentacle. This is the climax. We have reached the peak. We have reached the apex. This is what we have been working for all year long to get to this point, to extract a quadratic equation. Or to find the answer. No, it says solving the quadratic equation. There we go, get the correct terms. To solve the quadratic equation. You look at your examples in your book, and I really wish you would work them out. Okay? It'll take you maybe 10 minutes to go through there and work out each one of their problems, but it will kind of give you a feel of how to do it. I'll try to work them out step by step from here, and I may even make a mistake, okay? I may even make a mistake up here. Someone told me, and I did not count them, but I have been told there's 24 steps. No, I don't know if that's true. 24 steps to the process. I should have counted them before I told you that. They just come to my mind right now. Number 1 and 2 are fairly easy. So I'm going to let you do those, okay? And I hope I won't confuse you by doing a few tougher ones. I'm going to do 3, 5, and 6. So I'm going to do, in today's lesson, 3, 5, and 6. I'm going to do half of them. There we go. And you'll have to do 1, 2, and 4. You're welcome to copy my answer out off the board. So, here we go. Number 3, it's x squared plus 5x plus 4 equals 0. Let me grab a marker here. The first step that you need to do is take this 4 to this side. Okay? That makes him negative 4 x squared plus 5x. All right, and you move the 4. Remember, when you move across, you have to change the sign. This was a positive, so I made it a negative. Sometimes if this is negative, you'll make it a positive. You'll always change the sign when you move across to the equation. That shouldn't be too hard. Now, the next step, I don't know how to tell you what to do more than you just have to follow the rules. The next step is take your coefficient, which is your number of this term here, and divide it by 2 and square it. Okay, that's a 2-step process you have to do. You take this middle term of your equation here, which is right here. You take this middle term, dividing by 2, and take that answer and square it. And now you ready? The third thing is add it to both sides. Okay? So I took the 5 and divided by 2. It didn't come out evenly. That's the reason I chose this problem. I think some of your others come out evenly. Yeah, number 1 does, I know that, and number 2 does too. Okay, so you divide it, you come out with a fraction. I divided 2 into 5, and I got 5 over 2. Let it an improper fraction. Oh, someone's calling me right now. Let me see who it is. Maybe it's one of you. No, it's Drayden. I'll get him later. Now, you got 5 over 2, and I have to, remember the second thing I did? I have to square it. So you square 5 over 2, you square 5, and you square 2. 5 5s is 25. 2 2's are 4. The square of 2 is 4. So here's my 25 over 4. Do you remember the third step that I said? Add it to both sides. So here I rewrite my trinomial, and I put it 25 over 4 is added to here. You see, I put him in this 4 spot, this 25 over 4. Let him an improper fraction. There's no need making it proper. You'll just have to reverse it again. And then I also brought it over here and added it here. Okay, I'm going to just push pause now. We're not going to work any further, and I'm going to back up and review what we did. Because this is key. This is key. You must get this. Okay, we backed up here. We took our equation. We moved the first one over here. The back term we moved over here and made it the opposite, which was a 4, positive 4. We made a negative 4. Then we took the middle term, and the middle term we divided it in half and squared it and put it for the last term and also added it to this side. So back up, I'm going to go say that real fast. Divided by 2, that answer squared, added to both sides of the equation. Now that's, if you want to sit down and technical figure out what you did, you can do that. I want you to remember the rules. Okay? Now we'll move on. I combined this here, the negative 4 and the 25, you can add those together, which would make you negative 16 over 4. Okay? So the reason I got 4, this is negative 4, I made an improper fraction so I could add the two fractions. So I have a negative 16 plus 25, which opposite terms I subtract. That makes me, I had 9 left over, 4, and it was a positive number because this 16 was smaller. I used a bigger sign, okay? If you want to follow those steps, fine. If you want to just take my word for it, that's fine too. But that makes me 9 over 4. Now, I want you to take this term back here, trinomial, and make him into, you have to factor him out. And I did all the work. You probably have to do it on a separate sheet of paper, unless you've got it right up here in your head. Some of them are very easy. But this one here, factored out, is 5 over 2, x equals 5 over 2. So what you have to do is subtract an x and make 2 parentheses. And so if I work this problem out, you remember how to do this. Okay, I'm not going to go back over and explain how I got this answer. Okay, but this one, this trinomial, is factored out into a square. And what it is, it's x plus 5 over 2 squared. Now, did you follow me there? Are you listening? Do you get how I got this answer from here? Here you got a trinomial, and I made it a binomial squared. It's squared. So what you had to do was extract an x here, and then you had to get the square of this number, which was 5 and 2. I squared this number, and that answer should equal 5. If you add it together, it should double it, it should come up to 5, and it does, and then I've got 2 here. So I had x plus 5 over 2, x plus 5 over 2, and that's squared. Now the next step is going to do is to get rid of the square, and so I did it right here. I just copied this problem right straight down, and I used a radicand sign. I squared this, and I squared this. I did it in another step. You could, if you're working these problems out, you can just do it right here, do it, bring it on down. I recopied these problems and did it again. So that eliminated this little square. What it did, it eliminated the parentheses and this here, and this answer here, if you square x plus 5 is x plus 5 over 2, and then also I squared this here, which you take note here, normally if it's a whole number it's much easier, but here it's 9 over 4, so that means I squared 9 and I squared 4. You work your fractions just like if they would be whole numbers except 2. Okay? And number 6 is even going to be tougher yet when we get to him. We'll talk about that later. So now I've got 3, the square of 9 is 3, the square of 4 is 2. So I got 3 over 2. You know something that you were taught way back there, but that was getting ready for this. That when you square a number, it can be positive or negative. Positive or negative. There's actually like 2 numbers. So this answer, when you squared 9 over 2, you came up with a positive 3 over 2 and negative 3 over 2. Okay, we are getting our answer down here now, that it's getting real close to extracting to finding out the value of x. I don't know, I wish you were here to see if you got this part. If you haven't, you replay the video, or you read, maybe it's easier for you to read your examples. The examples tell you just the same in the book. I hope they do, anyhow. If not, we're in trouble. Now, you extract the x, you isolate the x. And the way you isolate the x, you have your equal sign here, you on both sides, and you have 3 over 2 plus a negative. So one time, bring the 5 over 2 over to this side, that isolates the x. So I did it right here. Let's back up here. Let's back up here. Here I've got the x, 5 over 2, and then I made the positive 3 over 2. Okay, so this is the same problem right here that I've got circled. I moved it right over here, and I worked it off to the side, and I made it this here the positive. I didn't put it here, but I'll put it here so you know. This is the positive one, and so I brought the 5 over 2 over. It was positive, so that made it a negative, and so I combined a positive 3 over 2, negative 5 over 2, and I said x equals, which these are opposite signs, so I subtract the 3 from 5, and I come with 2 over 2. That comes down negative 2 over 2, because the negative number is bigger, and that comes down with x equals negative 1. Now, it can either be positive or negative, so I did the same thing again here. This is one answer. X equals negative 1. Now, x here, and I used, what did I use here? Let me see here. This is equal. So I use a positive over there. Now I use a negative sign here. Negative 2/3. So I again brought the 5 over 2 over here, isolated the x. And now I had two negative numbers. 3 and 5 are both negative. And so I had 8. When I added those together, or combined them, I had 8 over 2. And it's a negative number. I guess I should have put, 8 over 2 is a negative number. And so I divide 2 into 8 makes me 4 negative. X equals 4 negative. Or x equals negative 1. You can put negative 1 or negative 4 in these spots and get the correct answer. And it will answer 0. Got it? We have just solved a quadratic equation. We have just found the answer for it. The answer for number 3 is negative 1. Oh, this thing ain't right. Or negative 4. Right there you go. X equals negative 1 or negative 4. Wow! Doesn't that feel like an accomplishment? You have reached it. Now the rest of the year, we'll just coast on out. It's like pedaling a bicycle. And sometimes you thought you weren't going to make it to the top. And you was pushing hard, ain't that right? I know. And then coronavirus hit, and they even made the pedaling go harder. Or maybe it was going easier, I don't know. And now, here we go. We've reached the peak, we're going down. I'll move you over, and we'll do number 5. Again, he's no simple, he's no piece of cake, he's a toughie. So here we go. I'm going to put him up right up here on the copy on the board. You tell me the first thing to do. Yeah, move the 21 over here to this side. Of course, I made him negative 21. I copied x squared, 22x, negative 21. Now, I did a shortcut here. I didn't do it, but you tell me the next thing that I reviewed. The next thing to do is, you're right. Divide 2 into your coefficient of the center. That makes you 11. And square 11. 11s are 121. So here, I divided 2 into there. I came up with 11. And I came up with 121. I squared 11. I got 121. What do I do with 121? Oh, that great must be calling. Oh no, this is somebody else. I don't even know who they are. It's a 787. Is that one of you maybe? Now you got to add 121 to both sides. So I have 121 here. and I put the 121 here, and I added him here. You didn't see it, but I subtracted the 21, and I come up with 100. Are you with me? We got 100 there. And next step is I have a trinomial, and I take that trinomial and make it a binomial. So I isolate him, and then I get the square of this one, which is 11. And 11 plus 11 equals 22, so I know it's correct. X plus 11, negative 2. I'll shut this beeping off here so I can hear. Or so you can hear. Now I have squared the 11. I did this with a Radicand sign, which you didn't see, but I'll do it here. And that got rid of the 2. And I squared 100. There we go. I should be putting it up there. There we put it up here where it should. I squared both sides. You have to square both sides, and what it is basically is to eliminate this 2. But you have to, what you do on one side, you have to do on the other side. So this here is working out perfectly. A square of 100 is negative positive 100. This is x equals 11. Now I'm ready to work it out in my 2 separate things. One time with positive 10 and the other time with negative 10. Here we go. X plus 11, negative 10. Let's try the negative first. I don't like this beeping sound. Do you? You like it? I should have shut my ringer off on my phone. There we go. Now we won't be distracted. Sorry about that. Negative 10, I bring the 11 over, make me negative 11, x. This marker's shot too. I'm going to have to buy new markers. X equals 21 negative. When I combine 10 negative and 11 negative, I said x equals 21 negative. Now I bring this same problem over here, and I'm using positive 10. X equals 11. I move the 11 over here. The 11 come down to here, and negative 11, positive 10, may subtract them, and I come up with 1 negative. X equals 1 negative. There you have your 2 answers. X up here, x here, and x here equals negative 1, or it could equal negative 21. You like that? You're kind of liking it, aren't you? I can just kind of tell. You're kind of liking that feeling. I'm getting it. I'm getting it. It's going. It's making sense. Well, we got one more yet. Here we go. Whoa. Can I get him all on? Sure enough I can. Well, I don't think I can. Well, we'll get this part. It's number 6. And it's going to be like your example 3. Yes, your example 3. The only difference in this problem and in your other problems is this number right up here. You have 3x squared, and the others are just x squared. Well, the simplest way is if it's multiplied, you're going to have to divide everything by 3. Okay? Well, let me tell you when you do that. First thing you do is simply move the 1 over here. It was a negative 1, makes me a positive 1. You can do that first. And then I divided everything by 3. 3 into x makes me x squared. 3 into x, now this is a 1, okay? Remember, there's supposed to be a 1 there, so that makes you 1/3 x. And then, of course, 3, you got done on this side. If you divide on this side, you got to divide on this side. So this makes you 1/3. Okay? Does that 3 confuse you? Not really, shouldn't. And that's brought us down to this problem right here. X squared, 1/3 x equals 1/3. So now we've got rid of that 3, totally eradicated or totally divided. We're down to our x squared plus 1/3. Now, the next thing is I wrote it on the board. I divide 2 into 1/3. Now, that fooled me. I did it wrong to start with. But I have 1/3 divided by 2 equals 1/6. You stop and think about that, that's correct. I know it is because I looked up in the book, okay? Then I come and I have to square 1/6. You remember that answer? Divided by 2, it's your center term. divide, or it's your center term right here, which is 1/3 now, divide it by 2, square that answer, add it to both sides. So I squared 1/6. You know how to square 1/6? 1 times 1 is 1, and 6 times 6 is 36, exactly. 1 over 36. Now I add 136 to both sides of the term. I add 136 here, so that makes me x squared plus 1/3 x plus 1 over 36. And then I have to add 36 to here, which I made this an improper fraction, which would be 12 over 36, okay? Crossed out the 1/3, then I can add it, so that makes me 13/36. Pretty simple, right? How are you going to get this one down? That's not too tough. Matter of fact, if you do a little bit of remembering, you had his answer up here. But what you have to do is isolate the x, and then you have to get the square of this number here to put in this place, or you get the 2 factors that's going to have to equal 1/3, so that's 1/6. Okay, x plus 1/6 squared, 13 over 36. Okay, now we are ready to get rid of this here little 2. We gotta get rid of him, so we'll square this one. Woo! How do you like squaring that one? It's not too hard. Don't get too excited. It's pretty easy, actually. Matter of fact, if you square this here, you know what happened. You drop your parentheses, you drop your 2. That makes x plus 1/6. You got rid of the square. Basically, all you did is just erase this here. But you put the radical sign. This one here, when you do this one, you remember how to do that. We just did them a couple weeks ago. That's not hard. A square of 36, well, it won't go into 13. So move your radical sign above the 13, but you can get 36 squared. It's 6. And again, you have positive, negative, and I don't care how you do that there. This should be right here. It's a plus and a negative. Plus negative. 13 over 13 over 6. This one here we squared here. We can get this one. So now you're going to have to isolate this guy. Again, you have a positive 13 and a negative 13 times 1/6. I work that over here, so I'll move just over just a little bit so you can see all those problems. There we go. I'll reverse around here. This is the same problem again. I got x plus 1/6, positive 13. Okay, and so then I come over here and I brought the 1/6 over here, so that means the negative 1/6. Well, the 6 and 6 is going to leave at the 6, okay? So I bring the 6, let's just bring it down here, and my answer is negative 1. Yeah, I'll put the negative 1 in front, okay? I guess it could have been behind, but it's negative 1, positive radical 13. You got the same denominators, so you just have to have 1 here. Now, if you put 1/6 here and you put 6 there, it's not wrong. It's not wrong. But you don't have to. And then, of course, the other one is just the opposite. Negative 1, you still have your negative 1 when you bring it over. So your 2 answers are right here. Can you tell the difference? Not much difference, is there? Oh, yes, there is a difference. This little number is positive, and that number is negative. That's your positive and negative right there that we had up here. Is that simple? It's not too hard if you can remember all the steps. Like I told you, each one you will work out to have 2 answers. You will always, in a quadratic equation, it will always come out that you will have 2, to my knowledge. Now, there might be some in tomorrow's lesson. If you get stuck, if you get in problems, give me a call. I'm right here to walk you through. Have fun.